Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Katelyn from Florals.com and welcome back for a long overdue card concoctions episode. It's been a while since I've done one of these, but I really want to make some more cards. And if you guys want to see more card making processes, please let me know in the comments down below. Today we're doing a double fold card. There might be another name for this card, but as a scrapbooker first and card maker second, I just go with the flow for everything. So I'm taking two A2 size card bases and gluing them together so I can have a flap open on each side. And the reason I'm making this special kind of card is because my niece graduated this year and I've yet to give her her gift. So this is her card that will be with her gift. She did get a graduation card before that, but now she'll be getting this with her gift. So some really special way to say congratulations. And with every card concoctions episode, I have a subject matter of choice, which is this stamp and die set from Pink Fresh Studio. Now I have used this a handful of times, but I really wanted to use it some more. And if you guys love stamping, cards are definitely for you. I made some really simple stuff today that anyone could do themselves with a different stamp set. Just this sort of repeatability idea with this light bulb stamp set, which I think is so very cute. And luckily, I used almost every stamp in this set to make this card, and you guys will see how I decorate all the panels of this trifold in a moment as we go through the process. So the speed of this video is quite long, and I would love your input on what you prefer for a video. So here I have pulled out my Cuttlebug and the dies, and I'm die cutting them before stamping them. That is something I tend to prefer because my Cuttlebug plates are so warped. It is hard to keep a pre-stamped image inside the die frame, so usually I like to stamp second. It really depends though, because you could always use tape, which I do later on as well. And I'm definitely more of a go with the flow kind of gal. This whole card is not planned out in my head necessarily, but I am planning it as I go. So I'm going to grab my stamp block and the light bulb outline and my lovely VersaFine black ink, which is one of my favorite black stamping inks. And I'm going to bring it closer to me so I can see it a little bit better as I'm stamping the outline. And this part's always so scary, you know, the first stamp in any card on any project, and especially if you're stamping directly on the project. Luckily this is just some of my Nina Solar white cardstock I'm stamping on, but it's still nerve-wracking nonetheless. And now I'm going to stamp the screw section of the light bulb on top, and this will start the front of our card. Now I did also pull out a 6x6 paper set that I thought she would like. She likes bright and fun colors, and this paper pad that you'll see in a second is going to be very on point for that. And to go in the middle of the light bulb, I decided to go with the heart. Now all of the examples of cards I've seen with this stamp set on their design team page or on their product page is so much so light bulbs that are upside down. And I'm not sure if that's just a me thing, but I decided to go for light bulbs that are upside down too instead of right side up, which they could totally work either way. I'm just into the upside down light bulb kind of thing. So for the outside sentiment, I'm going to go with "It's Your Time to Shine" as the sentiment on the outside, because I thought that worked perfect for, well, for a graduation card, for a lot of sentiments actually. And here is that paper pad I was talking about, lots of fun bright colors and patterns, and this is from Claudia, and it's her design that's at Pretty Little Studio Shop. If you guys haven't checked them out yet, they are amazing. I love their products, and I haven't bought from them in a really long time, but they're definitely on my list next time I want to purchase. And it's been a while since I've used these, so I'm going to cut these with a small border, and that'll be 4 by 5 1/4, because this is an A2 size card. So what's great about these fancy folds is that they'll still fit in an everyday A2 size card envelope. They're not like some of the other fancy ones that exceed the limits of a normal size card or anything like that. Really easy and simple, and they can just be mailed off like a normal card can. So I'm going to glue this into place after I get the sentiment worked out. So sometimes when you have two sections of a sentiment that you need to test stamp, it's good to see how they'll rearrange nicely. So sometimes you might want to stamp them apart because there's too much excess around the stamp to get them close enough together. And sometimes you'll just be able to stamp them together like here. So I'm testing that to see, one, if it's straight, and two, if it looks good, because the actual start of the sentiment is off to the right hand side versus on the left. So someone could accidentally read this as "Shine, it's your time too," but I think it looks okay, so it's red, it's your time to shine. And again, I stamped that with VersaFine ink, and since this is a slightly glossy paper, I am going to let it sit for just a moment. But if you are stamping on a glossy paper, make sure you're using an ink pad that works with it, or go for embossing instead. So embossing on top of ink can be really, really helpful when it comes to slicker papers, because if you emboss it, it'll keep it in place. But getting to that point is a little bit hard. So I tested it to make sure it wouldn't smudge and all was good. And I'm going to glue it down to my front of my card base. And I just simply use ATG tape for that. And what's really nice is I decided to go for the craft base because I know I'd have a lot of white elements with my stamping, because I like to stamp on white cardstock. And with that, it just made it a little bit more simpler. It gives it that sort of neutral without being too much contrast, as if I made it black. You know, black would be a completely different look if that was what the card base was made out of. And craft is one of my favorite neutrals by far. And if you guys like craft, let me know in the comments down below, because I am a huge lover of the color craft. So here's where I start looking at some options for decorating the outside of the card, which I was simply testing these. Essentially, they're just glitter glues. So I have some stickles out. I have one in my hand that's yellow from Studio G, and I really wanted to use it. But as I tested it, it was simply separated. So all the glitter's in the bottom. So I decide to turn them upside down while I work on the rest of the card, and hopefully the glitter falls to the top and I can use it when I'm done. Spoiler alert, the glitter did not move. I still don't think it's moved, and it's been a week since I've done this card, so I might have to figure out a way to try to open up that bottle and mix it up to see if I can ever salvage the actual product in there. But now we get to move into the first inside panel. And what's really nice about a stamp and die set is that if you've gotten the stamp dirty already and you do plan on restamping it, you can always use the dies, which don't have any ink on them, to start planning your next spot, because it'll save the position of it and give you a better idea of what it looks like. So for this stamp set, I decided I wanted to do a repeatability, so kind of giving it this storybook vibe where the front has a light bulb and then the inside panels will also have light bulbs, but with different things inside them. So for this one, I'm using that die to hold my spot, and that's where the light bulb will be, and then I'm putting a sentiment beneath it, and then I also have that floral piece pulled out. So here's where I'm going to jump off camera and die cut these stamped light bulbs, just so I can have them done, because you guys have seen me do it once now, and this will be twice, and this time I actually do mess it up. So it's really, really hard sometimes to do a freeform image like this, because it can transfer or transform while it's on the block to be a little bit wonky. So I flip it over and try it again, and that one's not much better. So what I decided to do is go off camera, stamp them, and cut them out, so you guys don't have to sit and watch me struggle to do that 4 times. So I have 2 light bulbs, and I need this colored paper to work. So this is a diagonal stripe, so I go with 4 by 5 1/4, and I almost cut it the wrong direction, so I'm really glad I saved it and actually trimmed it the correct size. So this will be the first inside panel, and this will be the last of the pattern paper that I use, because I want the inside of the tertiary side to essentially be plain and simple, because that's where my writing will go. I don't need to overwhelm with additional paper, etc. So here I think about adding another section of the stripe on the left, and then it's just too overwhelming. So I have my bone folder in the middle there to help hold it down, because my creases are quite a bit still too loose. But I'm going to start embellishing my light bulb. So for this one, I pull out that inside flower that fits inside. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be a rose or some other one, but so far we've used about 6 of the stamps in this stamp set. And I, again, don't use all of them, but I really wish I could have, because that would have been a really cool idea for a video. But let me know if you guys would like to see additional ways to use stamps on cards, because I do love making cards. Sometimes they take me a long time to make, which is something I'm still getting used to, but I like actual process videos for cards versus the really clean and simple versions that some of the other people output. But if you guys do like these, please let me know in the comments down below so you guys can get more of these if you're interested. The next sentiment that I put on this section says, "You're brilliant," which I know she'll love the compliment because she is very smart. But that's going to pair well with this, I guess I'll call it a rose light bulb. And again, all of these light bulbs will essentially look like they're lining up once you start opening the card. So I didn't do the actual measurement of everything to make the light bulbs directly in the center, although I could have. I'm just eyeballing it, but it'll give you that illusion that you open it and it's like, oh, there's another light bulb, and then they'll all line up in the center of their panels. So I glue down the patterned paper with the stamped sentiment, and then I'm going to glue this one down and just put the light bulb into place. And again, all of this will fit inside an A2 envelope, so this could be shipped in the mail with a normal stamp if you're in the US. And now to the inside. This is again where I have a little bit of a plan, but not a full plan. And I want to keep it simple. So the inside actually is a one layer. So I'll be stamping the light bulb, the screw part of the light bulb, and then the insides of the light bulb, all in black ink. That's all it'll be. I'm not going to use the actual stamped bulbs. I'm just going to stamp directly on the craft paper, which is kind of scary because this is essentially the one shot you got. And if you guys are nervous about that kind of stamping, I highly recommend using a stamping tool. I know there's several have been on the market, so whichever one you have should work just fine. And when working with a project that is inherently larger than your stamping tool can be a bit difficult, but if you layer up the creases just right, you can stamp without harming the actual base of your card. So as you can see there, I did not line them up at all. I just stamped the bases of the light bulbs in about the center, about straight, because I am not super perfectionist, so I didn't mind. And next I'm going to stamp these beautiful sentiments inside. So this one's really, really pretty. And it says something about live life on the bright side, or live with the bright side of life. And I just think that's so, so cute. So now I have 4 light bulbs all within this, and they all are different. And then the right sentiment says it all starts with an idea. And her idea of going to college in Florida is something I'm really excited about now that I live in Florida, because I'll be able to see her a lot more often. And to finish off this card, I'm putting a congratulations sentiment in the top. And I could have picked out something that was a little bit more matchy to the current stamp set I'm working with, but I just go with an Avery Elle sentiment to make it work. And here I pull in the second flower component of that light bulb stamp set from Pink Fresh Studio and stamp it in the top left, or bottom left and top right corners to give it some symmetry. And then my sentiment can go in the middle. And I do test this glue again, or this glitter glue again, and it simply is not going to function. So this will be a little bit of a different card where it's just plain and simple, lots of stamping, a little bit of pattern paper, and it's still going to be a really wow style card because of that repetition and because of its uniqueness. But if you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and check out my card concoctions playlist linked down below. Here are all the close-ups of all of my stamping, and then again the sentiment can go in the middle. But if you guys are interested, I'll have products linked down below that are still available, and I'll also have additional anti-racism resources that you guys continue educating yourselves about, and more. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys!